Hello and welcome to the Bears, Birds, and Brews podcast. This is a show about the Chicago Bears, the Atlanta Falcons, and craft beer. My name is Asif Lakhani. My co-host is,
Nabil Alani.
on today's episode, we are going to the World Series, baby. What's up? How's it going? Home run, Eddie Rosario, putting the Braves over. World Series bound, NL champs, not NL East. NL champs, the Atlanta Braves going to the World Series, and this is where we are. Game one is happening soon, and before then, I'm having a beer. Well, I'm not even having a beer today. I'm having an unsweet Arnold Palmer from Chick-fil-A, but Nabil's having beer. Nabil, what are you drinking, my friend?
I'm drinking New Anthem. It's a brewery that I had a lot of during the pandemic from Wilmington, North Carolina. Really good brewery. I love New Anthem. This is the on cassette. It's a Mosaic, Citra, Amarillo, and El Dorado hops. It's a double IPA. And this is just one of the favorites that I've had from New Anthem recently for the past year. It's really good, really enjoyable.
Oh yeah,
Solid IPA.
Nabil's gonna drink that. Tell us how it is, and in the meantime, you can also follow us on social media at Bears, Birds, and Brews. See a picture of that beer. Maybe get a couple reels out of there, something. And New Anthem's a great brewery. I mean, I remember that was the first beer that we had for the first episode of The Last Dance last year. This happens to be where Michael Jordan is from, or at least raised in Wilmington, North Carolina. And man. How was your weekend, Bill?
It's good, dude. It's good.
Yeah.
Lots of sports. Certain team won a game. Certain teams lost the game.
Can you see my Zoom background? Oh yeah, sorry.
Your hand keeps going in and out, but I do see Truist Park behind you. And I do recall that when Truist Park first opened, you were like, Braves have to win a World Series within the next 2 or 3 years.
3 to 5 years, something like that.
No, you gave them a smaller time frame. They didn't meet the time frame.
Well, but I did say this has to happen because if you're gonna bring this up, I would say, remember I said the same thing about Georgia. And I said Kirby Smart will get them there. He had 2 really good chances in the first 2 years he was there. He might actually get it done this year. But anyway, you were right. I did say that the Braves, if they're gonna do this rebuilding, quote unquote, and move to a new stadium, have to get to a World Series and probably win within the next couple years, right?
Remember. Your statement was off by I think maybe a year or two, but hey, they better late than never. They're at the World Series now. Now they just got to win.
The COVID series.
That was last year. This is not a COVID series.
Right. I'm supposed to be blowing my nose right now.
Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. I will just hang up and you can do the rest of the pod on your own if you do that.
So. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, man. But man. So how do you feel about the Braves? Because you're a Cubs fan and you've also I was about to say, Nabil, actually, all right, 2 things. One, this is the first major championship that's been on this show that we've been covering. Because you had the Cubs. You had the Cubs.
Yes.
Then we had the Falcons in 2017. Then Atlanta United. Atlanta United was like the first one, but that was like within the first 3 to 6 months. Because this show has now been running for 3 years officially as of October 18th. So, but we also got to mention, because we forgot, Chicago Sky WNBA championship. They did get that.
That did happen.
That did happen. We didn't shout out to them. Shout out Candace Parker. But and now the Braves are in it, man. What do you think?
Good for the Braves. I mean, no one thought this was going to happen when Acuna went down. But man, they made some trades. I mean, they got Jock Peterson and his Pearls and Rizzo Stat down here. They got Jorge Soler. Soler power, pretty good. Pitching has always been good.
We saw him hit a home run. You remember that? We were there at that game.
I actually called that home run. That home run.
Jock Peterson made the catch in the outfield to end the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Always been a fan of Jorge Soler, and you solid bats, solid pitching. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to be the Braves against the Astros. I mean, Dusty Baker has made it to the world, has made it far in the playoffs multiple times, but could never get all the way over the hump. Let's see what happens. Dusty Baker did start off as an Atlanta Brave, and
Right.
now it's come full circle now. And back in the World Series against the Braves. So kind of interesting with that.
Has he ever lost a World Series as manager? Yeah, right? Or no?
Yeah, he was a Giants manager when they lost the World Series. Giants and I forget
Okay.
who they played, but yeah, it maybe was it the Angels? I don't think it was the Angels. I forget who the Giants played, but yeah, the
But it
Giants.
was like early. Maybe he had Barry Bonds probably, but it was like
He
early
did.
in.
He did. It was
Yeah.
2002 because right, because I remember right after Dusty lost that World Series, the Giants let him go as manager, and he became the Cubs manager in '03. And then he
Yeah, I
took
got
the
called
Cubs to the
Bartman.
NLCS, and that's when the Barton game happened.
Yeah.
So 2002, he did lose in the World Series as a Giants manager. It's just escaping for me who they lost to.
I'll look it up. But anyway, so
2002.
yeah, shout out to Dusty Baker, man. I mean, like, as you know, I'll just say as a Braves fan, obviously I'm super excited. You're right about Acuna. Like, he went down, and I think a lot of people felt like demoralized or just like, oh man, the season is done for. But they did talk about in the broadcast on Saturday, like Alex Anthopoulos had a chance with Jose Bautista and the Angels or in the Blue Jays. And, Jose Bautista made a comment in the offseason after they lost in the playoffs. And he's like, yo, like, I wish we would have done something at the trade deadline, and Alex Anthopoulos said he regrets that. And also that if he ever had the chance to do something similar, he would do it the next time. And so, like, it came full circle for him as well to say, like, okay, here's a chance to redeem myself. Obviously, the Astros have had a lot of controversy in the last couple of
Mhm.
years. I think for the most part, baseball fans probably want the Braves to win. And I think people generally tend to be Braves fans. They're not a hated team like the Yankees or the Lakers or the Celtics. Like the Braves are the Braves. And but with the Astros, that's a lot of heat. And they're a really good
Mhm.
team, man. Those two infields, like you got Correa and Altuve compared to like Dansby Swanson and Ozzy Albies, and you obviously got Freddie Freeman too. So like Austin Riley, some people Braves MVP this year, stepped up big time. I mean, it's really going to come down to a defensive like game, even though both offenses can be explosive as well,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Pitching is going to be key. I mean, pitching is always key in playoffs, so it'll be really interesting to see what happens. I mean, Braves pitching has been good, so it's going to be all in the pitching. I feel like whatever Braves pitching goes, the series will be determined by Braves pitching.
okay. Well, I mean, as a Braves fan, I'll tell you, I'm fully confident in the Braves pitching staff. And like I think that, for Atlanta people, right? Because as Atlanta people, this is rare for us. And hey, I'll just say that like people didn't expect us to be here, but we're here. So at some point, it's got to happen. And Chipper Jones said of all the years that his Braves teams went to the World Series in the '90s, the year that he felt like they didn't have the best team was '95, which is the year they ended up winning. And he said all those other teams I felt like were better teams, but that '95 team is the one that ended up winning it. So I think if you take history repeating itself over like that, it's like, okay, the best team didn't win in '95 because obviously you want Ronald Acuna out there. But if this is a team that does it, then so be it. We'll be back. We just got to get this done, and we'll talk about more of that later. I know the Falcons are feeling a lot of that momentum,
Yeah,
right?
2-game winning streak. It looks like
Yeah,
you won in London. You can't lose in the bye week, and now you went down to Florida, and you won again against the Miami squad. I mean, it was a pretty good game. I'll let you get into that. A couple of things that I saw was that Kyle Pitts catch that just looked effortless. That
the one over
one-handed,
the
just
top, over the
yeah, just
helmet. Yeah,
one-handed, effortless catch. It looked
amazing.
effortless. And then the ending of the game with Matt Ryan looking like classic Matt Ryan, bringing them down to get in the field goal range, and then Young Wei Q, I still don't know his name, but Young Ho,
Young Wei,
now we
baby.
can trust a Young Ho. So he got the
Oh
field goal to
man.
win it. I mean, what did you see in the game, Austin?
No, yeah, that was. I mean, like you said, everything you said was great. I think also they talked to Arthur Smith at one point, and they were doing another report during the game, and he was talking about how like I feel like so many coaches mismanage that 2 minute situation, and that's where teams win and lose games a lot of times. I mean, truthfully, that's when it happens, right? And so they both we talked about in the offseason, this marriage between the head coach and the quarterback is the perfect marriage, right? And I think that's at least what I expected. It's just like, okay, great. We have a smart coach. We have a great quarterback. Let's bring the two together and get some other execution taken care of. Like, for example, in the last couple weeks, Matt Ryan has only been sacked 2 times total. He's had the protection that he's always deserved. Finally, we're seeing what's happening. He did turn the ball over late in the game. With that fumble when he was trying to get outside the pocket, but he made a mistake. However, it wasn't a costly mistake. It was a valuable learning experience because what happened? Tua went down there, secured, his job or quieted some doubts, right? Like, oh, y'all don't need Deshaun Watson. Y'all got me. I'm here, right? Tua did pretty good once he got his head in the game. And then, but you gave Matt Ryan time, you gave him strategy, and you gave him good execution. And he also executed himself, recovering from that turnover and getting the field goal to win the game. I will say I did question the not going for 2 when the Falcons went up 20-7 instead of 21-7 early in the game. And, you almost didn't think about it then because you're up 20-7. That's a lot for them to overcome. But of course, anything can happen. And if the Falcons would have lost because they didn't go for 2 earlier, that would have been a real shame, Ultimately, it didn't matter. Great win. Kyle Pitts made that catch. He had a back-to-back 100-yard games. It's the first time a rookie tight end has done that in a long time. National Tight End Day was great for a lot of tight ends. Zach Ertz, Mo Alley Cox, another one caught a touchdown yesterday. Robert Tonyan caught a touchdown yesterday. I know that because on my fantasy
Uzama on the Bengals had went off.
Yo, maybe had the best day of all the tight ends other than Kyle Pitts, to be honest. Yeah.
I think he might have had a better day than Kyle Pitts.
But Kyle Pitts still had a great game, some great catches.
Yeah. But Uzama had 2 touchdowns, and I think. But one thing I do want to ask, I know it was National Tight End Day, but wide receivers are still more important, or maybe not. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff right now, but wide receivers are very important. And so far this season, we've seen something that's been kind of odd. Calvin Ridley isn't looking like regular Calvin Ridley. We saw his career arc. And right now, we're not seeing what Calvin Ridley did last year. Is this because Julio Jones isn't there? Is this because it's a new offense? Or is Calvin Ridley just not the wide receiver one we thought he was? Because he's in line to get a huge contract after the season.
Right.
So.
Okay, so, I mean, I guess I can answer this as a Falcons fan or just an objective observer, or maybe both. I don't know. I think, well, number one, there was a catch yesterday or a throw made yesterday in which Calvin really got blasted, dude. He should not have been throwing that ball. He shouldn't even have tried to catch that ball because he got hurt really bad, I mean, I hate to criticize Matt Ryan. I know that's what a lot of people blame me for, but I'm just saying, you cannot throw balls like that to your guys, right? Kyle Pitts, when he made some of those catches yesterday, he physically was just able to get that shit. You can't blast guys. Tom Brady said he doesn't like to throw guys up the middle and just let them get lit up. So 1, but 2, Calvin really caught a touchdown yesterday, big touchdown. So when you talk about, where's his performance? He stepped up when it counted. I mean, he caught a touchdown when the Falcons needed it bad.
Right.
And production-wise, he's not there yet. We're still early on in the thing. He did take a mental health break that was reported. Keep in mind, he missed the game last week. Now, that could also be what you're referring to in terms of where's Calvin Ridley at. And he said he needed to take a mental health break, came back, caught a touchdown. That was big for him. Hopefully he's okay physically. And I think the other question I had, Nabil, is you think about top 5, 10 receivers in the league. I mean, we all know Julio is and was up there, right? I mean, he's, one of the top 2 or 3 for a long time. If not, could still be, who knows? But you got Devontae Adams and you got Justin Jefferson's coming out strong. There's a lot of, there's so many guys who are really good. Is Calvin really a top 5 guy? What did the Falcons expect and what does he expect of himself? I mean, I guess, and like you said, without Julio Jones there. So now he's had to step up more, but Kyle Pitts was also brought in to alleviate some of that, right? So I don't think the Falcons need to worry too much about the story on Calvin Ridley until the season's over, because as of now, 2-game winning streak. He just caught his second touchdown of the year, and their offense is doing good. Their defense is doing enough to win games. You should be more focused on the Bears, to be honest, because I don't know what is going on up there at Soldier Field, or should I say down in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, well, this was the Falcons segment, so I was just going to ask the questions. But all right, I mean, hey, I can just move on to the Bears. I mean, you don't even want to talk about next week's Falcons game?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we guess we should get to that. So, what is Calvin Ridley going to do next week? That's a good point. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you're just trying to stir the pot there with the Calvin Ridley thing.
No, I wasn't just trying to stir the pot, but like at the same time, like it's a decent sample at this point of Calvin Ridley in a new offense. We saw Matt Ryan in the new offense start off not as hot. We saw Kyle Pitts start off kind of slow, but now we're seeing Kyle Pitts pick up. We're seeing Matt Ryan pick up. And yes, Calvin Ridley had a good day yesterday, but Calvin Ridley also doesn't look like he has picked up as much.
Okay.
So
yeah.
That was my one perspective. And I was going to lead into it later on with the trade deadline coming up if something may come up that way. So it was kind of a double-edged thing over there. But, so this week, Falcons are playing – it's escaping me where the Falcons playing this
Carolina,
week.
division game.
Yep. Okay, so we got a division game. So, right now there's a lot of stuff going on with Carolina. Like, we don't know if their QB1 is still Sam Darnold or if we're going to get P.J. Walker, who – Sam Darnold did get benched, yesterday. So we got Carolina coming to Atlanta, and Carolina has a really good secondary. We might get to see Stephen Gilmore. We may get to see CJ. We'll probably see CJ Henderson, from the former Jaguars corner.
Right.
So what does Falcons need this win? They're trying to compete in the South. So what has to happen for the Falcons to win? But also, is Calvin Ridley going to be one of the key opponents of this game, not to mention going forward?
Right. Okay. Well, no, those are all great observations about. I mean, you're spot on with everything. In terms of what the Falcons need this week, so they got to slow down the pass rush, because Carolina, normally a very fierce team, and the pass rush is very good. And then, like you said, their secondary is also great. So, like, if they can hold you down and get a coverage sack, they could get a lot of those in the game. If they're going to make you throw into tough windows, like that's a good opportunity for them that they'll gladly take. And then, I just mentioned a couple minutes ago, Matt Ryan hasn't been sacked a lot in terms of the last couple weeks. So can we keep that up? And then Cordell Patterson's going to be a factor. I mean, he ran for a touchdown yesterday, but and then Mike Smith went down limping. I don't know the report. I mean, Mike Davis went down limping. I don't know what the report is on him. But like, if Cordell Patterson has to become the full-time running back, which is not something that we envision, then maybe that does open up some lanes for Calvin Ridley, right? Because you're like, okay, you're getting Calvin Ridley in some of those better positions that I feel like should be in more so, than Patterson has as wide receiver one, right? And drop passes are a big thing with Calvin Ridley too this year. He's dropped a couple balls that, he has to work on that. But maybe that's why he took a week off. And he seemed to do better with that yesterday other than the one where he got lit up. So I think the Falcons just need to play like strategic in terms of slow down the pass rush, use Cordell Patterson a couple different ways, get Hayden Hurst involved. Haven't seen a lot of him this season. They just got to play like sound football. Fundamental football, I think, is enough to beat the Panthers, especially who don't have a quarterback situation that looks good right now. Maybe they could bring Cam Newton back. How fascinating would that be?
I don't think Cam Newton's going there. I don't think Cam Newton's going to go to Carolina. I don't know who's going to sign Cam Newton at this point. I mean, I know they were talking about the Seahawks potentially, but I don't know if anyone's going to sign Cam Newton.
Well, and real quick about Carolina, are they even going to have Christian McCaffrey? Like, is he even going to play?
I don't know.
Right? So
he could be back, but Chuba Hubbard is a viable replacement for him. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see what happens with that. Is it time for the Bears segment to go? The Bears?
Yeah, we can go to the Bears. We can go to the Bears.
I'm
I
gonna spend
mean,
35 seconds on it because that's the difference in the score right there.
all right,
I'm just kidding.
jeez. Yeah, I
I'm just
mean,
kidding.
it wasn't a pretty sight in Tampa this week. Tom Brady came and did Tom Brady things. Went ahead. We did not score a touchdown. He got a field goal. Justin Fields got lit up multiple times. And the only positive thing that came out of this game was Matt Nagy's COVID test, because he is COVID positive now. So, yeah, literally no positives came out of this game. I mean, Khalil Herbert had a very good game. So, that's something that we can always, be happy about, that there's a young player doing well for the Bears. But hey, outside of that, nothing good came out of this game. And it's kind of annoying to keep on saying like, oh, just kind of put this game behind us and move to the next game, because, if you keep doing that, then eventually you're going to have more losses than wins. But there's nothing good that came out of this game.
So what is the update on Andy Dalton and or Nick Foles? Was either of them
Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, they're both healthy. They're both 100%. But Justin Fields is the quarterback for the rest of the season.
Did any of them well, I guess the only benefit is that he gets real playing time, and like,
yeah.
I mean, if the Bucs secondary or the second team offense is in the game eventually, then like it's just good practice for him. I mean, if you got to take at least one silver lining, I think the real question is what happens with the coach and what are you looking at next week? Because next week is a winnable game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, before we move to next week, I did want to just, the most interesting part of the game that I did want to bring up was, Tom Brady did score a 600 touchdown. And we did see a trade that happened during the game. Very rare to see a trade happen mid-game. But we saw the sombrero guy in the stands trade the 600 touchdown ball for, I believe it was another game ball, a signed jersey, and potential helmet and like game pads or something.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the worst trade I've ever seen in the history of like sports. Like, you literally gave up a 600 touchdown ball and you got like shit coming back to you.
He got merch and he got a jersey. He got merch, he got a jersey, and he also got
maybe some autograph stuff, but like that ball could have been worth like at least 100,000. If some people maybe say more, but at least 100,000.
So I guess who asked for it back? Did Brady ask for it back? Because I saw he threw it to Mike Evans.
Right? I don't know who asked for it. I don't know who
I think it's like
triggered
NFL,
it, but there was like a Bucs staff member went and negotiated.
Yeah. So I mean, I think like the guy had no choice, man. They had him by the balls. Like, of course they're gonna fucking.
No, what do you mean he had no choice? I mean, he had the ball was his.
Yeah, I mean, what if he gets that jersey that Brady was wearing that day? Like Brady signed, okay, give me the ball, I'll give you my jersey. Then it's like, he might have something more valuable.
I'd rather have the ball.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, yeah. But like, so otherwise the only option then is you got to walk out of the game and just be like, hey, I got the ball, I'm leaving. And then, but who cares about the ball? I think like the ball is a fucking artifact. This is.
Well, I mean, it's there's no 600 touch. Brady is the only 600 touchdown member in the touchdown club. He's the only person with 600 touchdowns. And there's something about round numbers that everyone just loves. So that ball is either going to go on Brady's mantle or it's going to the Hall of Fame. One of those two places. That's where it's going.
Yeah. So that's where it's always destined to go.
So you literally have either the Hall of Fame or you have Brady by the ball. It's like, hey, I have this ball. I would have been like, you know what I want? I want season tickets for the rest of my life.
Well, yeah. I mean, see, that's the thing, of course. And I bet, dude, he's getting that 100%.
I don't think he is. No billionaire closes a deal and then feels bad about it and says, you know what? I'll give you more. No one does that.
I'm sure they already talked about that, dude. They're not going to tell you.
If it comes out later on that happened, I'll be like, you're right, Austin. But I don't think this guy's getting anything else. He may get like.
But okay, but if you or I were in the same situation, would you say the same thing? Like, yo, dude, I'll give you the ball back, but I'm calling what I want. Like I want tickets. I want
Honestly, no.
everything.
I would, if that was me and I knew that was a 600, he may not have even known that was a 600 touchdown either. He may not
Yeah, it's
know.
really, yeah, right.
Yeah, but if I knew that, I would have taken that ball and I would have just left. I would have left.
Right. Well, that's what I said. You either got to leave or
I would have left.
you got to
I would have
negotiate.
called a lawyer. I would have been like, "Hey, I got Brady's 600 ball.
What
Negotiate."
do I do? Yeah.
Boom.
Well, if you got any lawyers, I think we got some lawyers who listen to Bears, Birds, and Roots. We appreciate y'all still listening. We'll see what happens next week when the Bears host San Francisco. They will not be in San Francisco.
Yep. So we do get breakfast football for San Francisco. They will be coming from the West Coast to play a 1 o'clock game a noon game in Chicago, 1 o'clock game Eastern. We have a potential battle of the rookie quarterbacks. I mean, we don't know if we're going to get Jimmy G, who would have his homecoming in Chicago, or Trey Lance, the rookie quarterback. So going against Justin Fields. So that'll be interesting. And we don't know who the coach in the Bears is going to be. So it's going to be Shanahan versus, I don't know who the head coach is with Nagy's COVID situation. There's a couple of things I want to see. Well, one, if Nagy doesn't coach, let's say we have to go to a backup coach or whoever.
That's what I'm most interested in.
I want to see how the Bears work. Like, hey, do the Bears look more efficient on offense? Does Justin Fields look good? Is this just a Nagy issue, or is it the entire team? So that's the first thing I want to see. So I want to know. I want to know. I think Nagy needs 2 negative COVID tests. I don't know if he's vaccinated, but if he is vaccinated, I'm assuming he's vaccinated, but he may not be. He would need 2 negative COVID tests to be able to show up at the game. So if we get no Nagy, then I'm very curious to see how the Bears work. The other thing is, some people are talking about Kyle Shanahan might be on the hot seat right now after yesterday's performance against Indy. That I would love to see Kyle Shanahan in Chicago. So, maybe kind of, show Kyle Shanahan around the city, take him out a little bit, get some Portillo's in him,
He would be great with Justin Fields, which is a possible spot for him. This could have been the Justin Fields Trey Lance game. I think that's what people are hoping for, but
I still think it can be the Justin Fields Trey Lance game. I mean, I would love to see what happens. I don't think we're going to get David Montgomery back. Hopefully Justin Fields does get an offensive line back because he was down to his 3rd and 4th string tackles yesterday. So hopefully he gets an offensive line back. And then hopefully maybe we also get Robert Quinn back, which would be a big boost for us. And, I do think this is a very key game for the Bears. Right now, Bears sitting at 3-4. If the Bears lose this game and they're sitting at 3-5, looking right before the trade deadline, I think there could be a shot that certain key players may get traded. Key players like an Allen Robinson, like a Robert Quinn. It wouldn't even surprise me if they look to trade David Montgomery with the emergence of Khalil Herbert. I'll just move on to the next segment. I mean, next segment I was talking about the trade deadline coming up November 2nd. There are some key players the Bears can move to gain some assets before, if we're not going to make a playoff run, which as of now, it doesn't look we are. We also have Alec Ogletree, who's on a minimum contract, and he is playing very well. A team could use a linebacker. I think right now the Rams just traded their starting linebacker to Denver. So maybe the Rams need a linebacker. Maybe Denver needs a linebacker. We also have 2 starting quarterbacks, but all the quarterbacks have gone down this year. I know the Jets just traded for Joe Flacco like 2 minutes ago, but the Jets are down quarterback. Seattle's down a quarterback. Making move. We have 2 quarterbacks to trade, so Bears should look. Even if they win this game, they should look to make a couple of moves. But if they lose, they should definitely look to make a move. Robert Quinn is a defensive end who's playing really well right now. If you trade him to a certain team and get a 2nd, maybe a 3rd round pick for him, that could help the Bears down the road and help a certain team, maybe make a Super Bowl run.
I guess that's my question for you, Nabil. It's like if the Bears trade somebody, it's essentially anything for the future, right? There's no reason for them to trade to be competitive right now. Is that what you're telling me?
Potentially. I mean, I can see certain trades to kind of help now and for the future. I mean, I can just a couple of trades off the top of my head.
Like
Allen
if you trade
Robinson
Allen
does.
Robinson, yeah.
Yeah,
Talk about
but
Allen
right now,
Robinson.
Allen Robinson doesn't look like he's going to be on the Bears after this year, and he's not doing well this year for the Bears. I mean, just how Calvin Ridley isn't performing to the point that we thought he would for the Falcons, Allen Robinson isn't doing anything for the Bears right now. So hey, just a couple of trade thoughts are in my mind. Trade Allen Robinson to the Browns for Odell straight up. Odell for Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson has been a better receiver lately than Odell has. So instant impact, instant upgrade for the Browns. Odell to the Bears. Odell, can restart his career in Chicago where he could be the wide receiver one. He can, it wouldn't have to worry. It wouldn't be the running game.
Jarvis Landry's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, the wide receiver one was supposed to be Odell and not Jarvis Landry.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But it just never worked out the right way. So if Odell comes to the Bears, he'd be a clear wide receiver one, and he'd be able to, work with Justin Fields right there. Another trade that's coming to mind for me, maybe you trade Allen Robinson to the 49ers for Brandon Ayuk and a third or a fourth. Let's say Brandon Ayuk and a fourth. Right there, Allen Robinson, Deebo Samuels, that's a dynamic wide receiving core. Brandon Ayuk isn't performing for San Francisco that well. You trade Brandon Ayuk to the Bears. He can, Brandon Ayuk had a good rookie season, not a great rookie season.
Yeah,
had a good rookie season.
Value and something like that. Like, I don't know. But I guess if you're talking about
what do you mean?
It all makes sense. Like, I mean, if you
get Brandon Ayuk. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I guess it's you're being utilized different if you talk Ayuk and Robinson,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, San Francisco has essentially given up on Brandon Ayuk. They're not targeting him. I don't think they like him. And I don't know what happened between this rookie year and now. But any Brandon Ayuk fantasy owner knows right now that he isn't getting targets. They're not. Something happened. And I think they're going to move on from Brandon Ayuk this offseason. But if you can get a jump start and just get him on your team, another trade that could happen, and this will be more for the future. You trade Allen Robinson to Baltimore, who needs a true wide receiver one. He's your wide receiver one in Baltimore, and you ask for a third, a second. I don't know at this point what Allen Robinson's value is, just because he's not performing well during the season right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I just, I don't want to get too caught up depending on how we are on time. But I mean, is Allen Robinson okay? I mean, the Bears do have assets, right? And like you said, Odell would be good. They would be foolish to not make a move. I think if you're Ryan Pace, you're kind of in the hot seat situation, right?
I think it depends. I honestly, like, if the Bears win this week, I think it's status quo. I don't think they're going to make any moves. Maybe a Nick Foles trade or maybe an Andy Dalton trade. Maybe one of those two quarterbacks will be gone. Outside of that, they may not make a move. But if the Bears lose this week, they'll be fools not to at least shop everyone on the roster outside of Justin Fields. And when I mean everyone on their roster, I mean everyone, down to David Montgomery, down to everyone. Damian Williams, offer him to Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City, they don't have no running backs right now. Damian Williams should have been the Super Bowl MVP when they won the Super Bowl. Right. Offer them Damian Williams. Let's see if they give you a 5th round, 6th round pick. That's a pick you didn't have for a player you're not going to use.
Right. Okay. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I don't think the Falcons are going to be moving Calvin Ridley or anything like that. Hayden Hurst is the guy we talked about.
I still think Hayden Hurst might be a player that would look to move. I mean, they missed their opportunity when Zach Ertz got traded to Arizona. I don't know where else you could trade Hayden Hurst. I mean, originally I thought Buffalo was an option for Hayden Hurst, but with the way Knox has kind of stepped up and how well he's playing right now, they may not even want to trade for a tight end. So I don't know where Hayden Hurst would fit, but, it doesn't hurt to shop him. You did give up a 2nd round pick for him, but, you may be able to recoup a 3rd, 4th, potentially a 5th round pick for him, depending on where you go.
Right. Nice, man. It should be. Some moves will be made within the next weekend, so we'll tell you all about those when that does happen. It's good. I mean, the NFL trade deadline is like low-key very exciting, and a lot of stuff happens.
It's not as cool as the NBA. The baseball trade deadline's the best. NBA trade deadline can be cool at times. But NFL, sometimes if you get a sneaky trade, and like a couple of years ago with the Jimmy G trade, but it's very hit or miss trade
And
wise.
isn't the Jay Ajayi trade? Didn't that happen at the trade deadline the year the Eagles
Yeah.
won? Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Like that was pretty cool. I always haven't seen that guy in a while, But you also know what else
Exactly.
we haven't seen in a while? We ain't seen the Braves in the World Series in a while, bro. It's time, man. It's time. How do you feel, like, as a Cubs fan, as an Atlanta resident? Like, what's going through your mind? Let's, talk to me.
I mean, or initially going through my mind was I want to resell some tickets, but I can't buy any, so that's good.
Yeah, what about the
What I
Chick-fil-A
was
Bowl tickets though? You still got those?
nah, let them pass.
Oh man,
Um,
I probably got my payoff for that. Yeah. What's up,
but
man?
yeah, I mean, I think tomorrow's game one, Tuesday. Tomorrow is game one. I believe it's starting off in Houston. I don't know if Atlanta is doing any watch parties or anywhere, but I would hope they're doing watch parties at the Battery. If they are, if
Oh,
they're
I'm sure the
not, I
battery
mean,
is gonna be.
that's
Yeah,
a
I'm sure.
that's a missed opportunity. But yeah, I mean, game one's tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Game one at Houston, I believe.
Yeah, what do you think about? Is there anything in terms of when the Cubs went through this? Real quick though, like you thought, like because the Cubs did in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there anything about that time that you remember, or like, is there anything like, how do you feel? When it's like
I
your team,
I would say just enjoy it. I mean, hey, right now you're gonna get 4 game. You're guaranteed 4 games of your team playing against 4 games of the two
The-
best teams in baseball playing. Your team being one of them.
Yeah,
Enjoy the 4 games, and you know what? You may be, if all 4 games go in your favor, awesome. If not, watch every minute of it because you might
right.
get a 5th game, you might get a 6th game, you might be a 7th. Who knows?
Yeah,
Every year you are going to be anxiety ridden with every pitch.
yeah.
So
That's
just be ready
playoff
for that.
baseball too, man.
I mean, you are you're literally gonna, it's weird because with regular season baseball, a pitch doesn't matter. You'll miss a pitch. Playoff baseball, every pitch matters. You're watching every pitch like it might be the last pitch because
Yeah,
every pitch can be knocked out of the park.
yeah.
So at this point, I mean, you're going to be anxiety ridden. You're going to be worried. You're going to be nail biting. You're going to be pulling your hair out. But
It's gonna be
just
fun
enjoy
though.
it.
Yeah, it's
Just
gonna be
enjoy it.
fun.
Because I will say one thing. I mean, you don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, like the
Right.
Cubs, like a fart in the wind, it's over. So you
Yeah.
don't know how long it's going to last. So enjoy this series. I mean,
And
enjoy
for
it.
Atlanta, this is a big deal, man. This is fun. But like, I was saying throughout the NLCS, like the job's not done yet. Like it's not. Like we've proven that we can get to the NLCS, like with or without the best roster. We've proven we can do it. And we've proven that we're the best team. Now it's really time to just go make it official. So like you got any predictions in terms of what's gonna happen with the Braves? We'll go there toward the end. Actually, we'll end with that, yeah?
Okay.
Um, so otherwise it's time for predictions NFL wise. We go Panthers, Falcons, Atlanta -2.5 at home. What do you think?
I think I got Atlanta winning this game 28-24.
Okay. 28-24. Wow, that's a close one. Man, Sam Darnold will be playing. We'll see how well he does. I think the Falcons will win. I think they'll definitely cover. I'm gonna take Atlanta like 27-13. I think they'll be able to get it together. Hopefully.
Jeez. Okay.
Well,
Wow.
13 gives their defense a lot of credit. We'll say like 27-17. Make it like a 10-point game,
All right.
Confidence. We're going to start keeping track of these things one day. 49ers at Chicago, San Francisco, -3.5. What do you got?
So as of now, I'm assuming Matt Nagy is not coaching because he has COVID. So if that's the case, I have the Bears winning 24-21, and Justin Fields is going to throw 2 touchdowns. If Matt Nagy's not coaching. If Nagy coaches, I don't know what's going to happen.
And if Nagy wasn't coaching, it would have been Dave Ragone, who's now with the Falcons, right? So
No.
who the old offensive coordinator?
He was our quarterback coach.
Okay, so who would have been coaching for y'all then?
Well, right now it's our special teams coordinator, Chris Tabor. Normally, when the head coach goes down, it normally goes to special teams, just because the
Yo,
special teams
what about
coordinator,
Sean Desai, bro? What about Sean Desai, man? Why don't we get this
he's a
guy a head
defensive
coach?
coordinator. I mean, he's doing
Yeah,
well on defense. Let him manage the defense. I
I got
mean,
you.
this special teams coordinator normally takes over for the head coach unless you have an assigned assistant head coach.
I got you. Okay, so there is no assistant head coach, I guess is what I was getting at.
Yeah, I guess there's not. That's what the special team. He might be special teams coordinator and assistant head coach.
Right.
So,
All right. Okay. I mean, I think the Bears will bounce back. Just because, I mean, the 49ers look like broken right now. I don't think that they're any good. And I also want the Bears to win. I'll take the Bears like 17-14,
okay.
Good defensive game right there. And then, yeah, you got Packers at Cardinals on Thursday, which could have been so much better if Devontae Adams was playing. I mean, it should still be a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be very difficult for him to play. He would have to like be COVID negative tomorrow and then do another one on Thursday. So I don't think that's going to happen. So most likely he won't play.
Right. Okay. And then, yeah, I mean, who you think? You think Arizona will stay undefeated? Just yes or no?
Yeah, I got Arizona winning 35-28.
Okay. Damn. So it should still be a good game.
Yeah.
I'll take the Packers like 41-38. That's what I'll take,
Okay.
And then all right, Braves World Series. Nabil, who you got? What do you think is gonna happen? You talking about pitching
Braves
being yeah.
I'll take Braves in 7.
Okay, Braves in 7. I do think it's either going to be like a 5-game series or like a 7-game like hard fought battle. Like an easy 5 games or a hard 7 for whoever wins. I really think that that'll be the case. And I think logic. I mean, the Astros are very good, man. Like they've been there a couple years, right? Cheating, no cheating, whatever. I mean, they're a pretty good team, and they got some good playmakers. I think most people will probably pick the Astros. Logically, like I think they would say, and they get a home field too, right? So obviously that helps for them. So I think most people would say Astros in 6, but I don't know, man. I mean, I think Braves in 6 is probably what it should be, right? Like even though I said it's gonna be 5 or 7, but I think
that's why I'm laughing. I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying at this point.
Yeah, well, that's why I put this off to the end, so I could just like fucking ramble on, and then
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I think it's gonna be 5 or 7 games. I got Braves in 6. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah. So if it's gonna be the Astros, it's gonna be like an easy 5 or a hard 7 for them. But I think the Braves would just take it in 6.
So what's your prediction?
Braves in 6, baby.
Okay.
Freddie Freeman, World Series MVP. And shout out to the Braves and Tomahawk Cup at Bears. Bro, are you gonna watch the games anywhere? What are you doing for the games, man?
I don't have anything planned. I have nothing
excited?
planned as of yet.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it should be a fun matchup to watch. I mean, good.
You typically don't like the Atlanta teams or the Braves, especially, right? I mean,
I do not, but I'm rooting for y'all.
Hell yeah! Well, that's all right. There you go. That's all I wanted to hear. Took us that much time to get there, but we're gonna give y'all the rest of it back. We appreciate y'all listening.
This isn't a Zoom meeting.
Actually,
it is.
Yeah.